When I know some customer number, suppose 103, he is from Nellore and his name is Mahesh. Now, can you tell whether this customer 103 having account or not? Hmm? Whether this 103 having an account or not will tell? No.
No.
Similarly, 201 is a saving account with the balance 10,000. Can I tell which customer is maintaining that account? లేదు కదా అంటే we have
No.
created tables here, but there is no means of representing relationships among them. అంటే if two tables are related to one another, we must establish the relationships also. So what is the meaning of relationship here? Like for example,
Relationship.
somebody entered the office and she asked, like, I want to speak to Miss Ba. Then you people, you are very anxious. You asked, who is she? Who is she like that? Miss Ba told she is my Manatta. She is my auntie. So her Manatta's family is related to Miss Ba's family. How? Whom we call Manatta? Who is auntie? Mother sister. Mother sister, what we call?
Mother.
Everyone is
Maternity.
auntie. Huh?
Maternity.
So generally, no, only father's sister we call Manatta. Menamama means mother's brother, like that. అంటే two families, they are related to one another. Means how these families are related to one another. We say they are our relatives. Hmm? Can Harita say Misbah is our relative?
No.
నేను అడిగిన దానికి చెప్పండి అదే మీ దగ్గర. So whom we can say they are our relatives. How they are related with the family? అంటే if two families are related means there is one common person available in both families. Because of
Yes.
that common person, the relationship has come. So Menata, she is our family member. And he is our father's sister or our grandparents' daughter. When she was given in some other family, that family has become related to us. So there is a common relationship among them. Let's take mother. Mother, she is the wife of our father. But she belongs to some family where she is a sister or maybe some daughter, something like. So because of this mother, the relationship established between two families. And why I'm telling this? Because if possible, we must establish relationship between the two tables. So two tables, if they are related, means how to show that relationship? Means those two tables, they must have one column in common.
Is a primary
They must have
common
one
column.
column in common. So because customer is related to account, customer related to loan, customer to deposit, because customer is having relationship with multiple tables, so what we will do? One
Common
column
column.
from the customer table, we will add it to the account table here. Suppose if I have added like customer city. So 201 is the account maintained by the customer who is from Nellore. So who is that customer? He is
Mahesh.
Mahesh, whose ID is 103. Now the relationship created. Suppose if I say 202 is the account maintained by the person who is from
Amaravati.
Amaravati. So who is
Ramesh.
that person?
Ramesh.
Not sure. Why? Because when there is more than one customer from the same city, we can't identify the relation.
Acha, acha.
Suppose if I have taken suppose that if I have taken like customer name. Now 201 is the account maintained by Ramesh. Who is he? He is from Amaravati. His ID is 102. So 202 is the account maintained by Suresh. Again, who is Suresh? Confusion because more than one customer may have the same name. That's why what we'll do generally to
Customer
establish
ID.
relationship between two tables, the primary key of one table we will add to another. So that now I will enter the data like 103, 102, 102, like this. Now we can find the relationship here. Now we can find the relationship here like this. 201, it is a saving account and having a balance 10,000. Who is maintaining this account? When I take this ID to the customer table, he is Mahesh and he is from Nellore. So, to establish relationship between two tables, the primary key of one table is added as a normal attribute to the other table. So, in that table, it is primary key. But coming to this table, we call it what? In customer table, custard is the primary key. So, in account table, we call it a foreign key. We call it a foreign key. So, what is a foreign key here? To establish relationship between two tables, the primary key of one table is added as a normal attribute to the another. For that table, it will behave as a foreign key. That's what we say here. Then how the foreign key value should be? Foreign key value may not be unique. యూనిక్ గా ఉండాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు ఎందుకంటే ఏ కస్టమర్ కెన్ హ్యావ్ మోర్ దాన్ వన్ అకౌంట్ ఏ కస్టమర్ కెన్ టేక్ మోర్ దాన్ వన్ లోన్ ఏ స్టూడెంట్ మే జాయిన్ మోర్ దాన్ వన్ కోర్స్ సో ఇట్ మే నాట్ బి యూనిక్ బట్ వాట్ ఎవర్ ద వాల్యూ వీ గివ్ ఇన్ ద for the foreign key the value must be declared in the parent table it must exist in the original table. And here we call customer as a parent table, account as a child table because it is deriving customer ID there. So here the customer ID in the customer table, we call it parent key. Relationship purpose we are adding here, it is the child key. Whatever the value we are giving for the child key, it must be available in the parent table. Like for example, if I say 205 is the account which is maintained by the customer whose ID is 192. Who is that 192? Then no customer exists. If no customer exists, how you can provide account for him or how you can give loan? Okay, now that so that's why whatever the value we give, it must be available in the parent table. That's what here. So this is what exactly we call relational model. We can create the relationships between the tables like this. So the databases which are constructed based on this relational model, we call them RDBMS packages. Okay, now the databases which are constructed based on this model, we call them RDBMS packages. One of such powerful RDBMS package that was provided for us, it is Oracle. Okay, when we take Oracle, MySQL, similarly, we have several softwares available like SQL Server, SQLite, DB2, uh, PostgreSQL, MariaDB, Informix. All these type of softwares, we call them RDBMS packages. Relational Database Management Systems packages. One of the powerful package that is provided here, it is Oracle. వీటిని RDBMS packages అనొచ్చు, or even we call them SQL databases. Previously we discussed databases are of two types, SQL and NoSQL databases. What is the difference between SQL and NoSQL database? SQL databases are used to maintain structured data. NoSQL databases means semi-structured or unstructured data.
Unstructured data.
Oracle is one of the most popular RDBMS package developed by Relational Systems Incorporated. Actually, this is the actual name of Oracle. So the Oracle was built by the organization. It is Relational Systems Incorporated at the end of 1960s. Around 1969, 1970, at that time, this Oracle software, it was built there. Okay, it was developed by this organization, and of course, later the organization was renamed to Oracle Corporation. Okay, now later it was renamed to Oracle Corporation. So before Oracle, we have the database provided, that is SQL. It was built by IBM Corporation. Structured English Query Language, they call it. This is the first RDBMS software that was built by IBM. And once Oracle has introduced it, so Oracle is the first commercial RDBMS software that was built there. It is the first commercial RDBMS software. Commercial and public usage licensed. IBM built SQL for their own usage. But Oracle, anybody can use. You can buy, you can use our product, commercial product. It is a commercial RDBMS software that was built here, that is SQL. And once Oracle version 2, it was introduced in 1972, Oracle, it started leading the database world. And Oracle now it is providing one more software, that is MySQL. This is another product from Oracle. Okay, another RDBMS product from Oracle is MySQL. So it is an open source software. So it is an open source database from MySQL AB. This is the organization which built MySQL. But later this organization was owned by Sun Microsystems. Later Sun Microsystems was owned by Oracle. And ఇప్పుడు MySQL has become Oracle product. Similarly, Java also become Oracle product. ఎందుకంటే Java also built by Sun Microsystems, so it has become Oracle product there. Like that, Oracle has come. When we take any RDBMS package, mainly RDBMS packages, they contain two components. What are they? SQL, and second one PLSQL, or even we call it TSQL. Okay, any RDBMS package when we take, they contain mainly two components. One is SQL, second one PLSQL or TSQL. SQL, actually it stands for structured query language. So PLSQL, it stands for what? Procedural
Procedure.
language
Right.
for SQL. Or TSQL అంటే Oracle లో మనం PLSQL అంటాం. But other database software, they call it TSQL, which stands for Transact SQL అంటాం. So what is SQL? What is SQL means? It is a non-procedural database language. Okay, now it's a non-procedural database language. Coming to PLSQL, it is a procedural database language. So what is the difference? Means non-procedural means we tell what to do. We will tell what to do, but not how. That is non-procedural. Procedural means what? Here we say what to do and also how to do. That is procedural. And like for example, one day I went to some restaurant. I called the bearer and told, get me one masala dosa. What is required, I am telling. So how to prepare the item, how to serve the item, it is the internal process. I don't bother. Non-procedural. Otherwise, Misbah directly entered the kitchen and started instructions how to prepare the item. Okay, you are telling what to do and at the same time how to. We call it procedural. So here, non-procedural means here the database operations, whatever we want to perform, they are implemented through a set of commands. The database operations are the persistence logic under. The persistence logic, it is implemented through a set of commands. PLSQL means here the database operations, they are performed through a set of programs, like how we are declaring variables in C language. Input, output, like that everything, if it is created as a program, it is procedural. Just a single line command I will submit, the task is done internally, we call it non-procedural, that is SQL under. But here we don't bother about PLSQL, we are going to see the basics of SQL only. Actually, SQL, it is a combination of different database languages. SQL, it's a combination of different database languages. What are they means? DDL, DML, DRL, TCL, and TCL. Okay, 5 different languages: DDL, DML, DRL, TCL, and TCL. So DDL means what? Data definition language, we call it. So what is the purpose of DDL? So this language provides commands to access the table structure. Okay, if we want to access the structure of a table, we use the commands of DDL to access the table structure. So what are the commands provided? Means the commands include, first one, create. If I want to create a new table, I can use create. Next, alter. I want to modify the structure of a table, I'll use alter. Next, describe, or DESC also we can say, describe. To display the structure of a table, I will use. Then I will use truncate. Truncate command, it is used to delete all the records of a table. Whatever the records available in a table, if we want to delete, we use truncate. But truncate deletes table data only, but still your records will be there. Truncate deletes the table data only. Data matram delete chesni, but still the records will be, structure will be there. I want to delete the table structure and data. Everything I want to delete. Then no structure, no data. Everything I want to delete there. So what I will do? Hmm? So we use the command called drop. Drop is used to delete the table structure along with the data. These are the commands of DDL. Next we have like DML, which stands for data manipulation
The
language.
manipulation language.
Manipulation language means the commands of this language, they are used to access the table data. DDL to access the table structure. Here to access the table data, records of the table, DML. So what are the commands given? We have like insert. I want to add a new record. I'll use insert. Update. I want to modify an existing record. Update. Delete. I want to delete a record. Delete. Correct the operations. Three things are done. But what about the fourth one? Read operation. It was given as a separate language, that is DRL or DQL, which stands for data retrieval language or data query language. This language provides only one command, that is select, which is used to retrieve the records of a table. And if I want to fetch the records of a table, we use a command called get. And one more question here. If I want to delete the table data, I can use truncate. If I want to delete the table data, delete. So what is the difference between truncate and delete?
Truncate means all the data you can delete. Delete means only one column only delete the data.
నాకు పర్టికులర్ అని ఒకటి వినిపించింది, తర్వాత టోటల్ అని వినిపించింది, మధ్యలో ఏమి?
డిలీట్ అనేది పర్టికులర్ రికార్డ్ ని డిలీట్ చేయడం ఉపయోగిస్తుంది. ట్రంకేట్ అనేది టోటల్ రికార్డ్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎ టేబుల్ అనేది డిలీట్ చేస్తారు. బట్ ఈ యొక్క స్ట్రక్చర్ అనేది మనకు అలా ఉండిపోతుంది ట్రంకేట్.
డిలీట్ లో కూడా స్ట్రక్చర్ అలానే ఉంటుంది.
బట్ ఇది స్పెసిఫిక్ రికార్డ్ మాత్రమే డిలీట్ చేయగలం సార్. డిలీట్
Truncate is used to delete all records of a given table, while delete is used to delete selected records. I can delete one record or n records or multiple. Inka, what are the other differences? The data deleted using truncate command. Okay, it cannot be rolled back. You cannot roll back the data. While the data deleted using delete command can be rolled back. We can roll back the data. It can be rolled back. Logically, a table is created as a collection of pages, each page containing a set of records. Okay, table created as a collection of pages, each page contains a set of records. Ad nenu meeku chupistanu. So here what happens is, when we take the truncate command, truncate commands delete data page by page and hence faster. While delete command deletes data like how? Record by record. and hence slower. ఒక్కొక్క రికార్డ్ని డిలీట్ చేసుకుంటూ వెళ్తుంది. దట్స్ వై ఇట్స్ స్లోయర్. బట్ ట్రంకేట్ ఇట్ డిలీట్స్ పేజ్ బై పేజ్ ఫాస్టర్. సో దట్ ఇప్పుడు ఇన్స్టెడ్ ఆఫ్ డిలీటింగ్ లైన్ బై లైన్ మనం పేజ్ బై పేజ్ సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకుంటే ఫాస్ట్ చేయొచ్చు కదా. అండ్ నాట్ ఓన్లీ దట్, ట్రంకేట్ ఈజ్ అ డిడిఎల్ కమాండ్, డిలీట్ ఈజ్ అ డిఎంఎల్ కమాండ్. ఇంకా మీకు ఏ అదర్ డిఫరెన్సెస్ తెలియకపోతే. So that is about the DRL, data retrieval language we can write. Next we have the fourth language provided, that is DCL, which stands for data. We call it data control language. What is this? Means the commands of this language are used to provide data security. మనం చెప్పాం, one of the important advantage of databases, they provide data and transaction security అన్నాం. So to provide security for data, we'll use the commands of TCL. So what are the commands provided? The commands include first one, grant. So this command, it is used to provide permissions to access a table. If I want to access a table, so the permissions are given through grant command. Instead of that, they have provided a command called revoke. Em chestundi? It is used to cancel permissions from accessing a table. Whatever the permissions given, suppose they are misusing, so cancels permissions from accessing a table, that is revoke. And finally we have TCL. It stands for transaction control language. So transaction control language, as the name implies, what the commands of this language, they are used to provide transaction security. They are used to provide transaction security. So what are the commands provided? The first one we have commit. Commit is used to save the results of a transaction. Okay, now durability annam kada, commit. Once the transaction was completed, I want to save the results of a transaction, I can use commit. Next we have rollback. Rollback, it is used to what? Restart a failed transaction. Whenever a transaction is failed, to restart a failed transaction, we'll use rollback. And then we have one more command available. And the command changes from database to database. In Oracle, we call save point. In other databases, save transaction under. This command is used to restart a failed transaction at a given point of time, or at a specific point. Like for example, one day you went to some movie. At the end of the movie, 5 minutes before climax or before the end of 5 minutes, power failure. So they started the movie with generator. And they like rollback command. So again, they started from titles movie. Again, at the same climax scene, diesel completed. Next, they started with inverters. Again, from title. At the same climax, the inverter also power gone. Next, power supply came. Again, they started from. And the same movie you watched 4 times without climax. So that is rollback. But generally, they want to do like that. At which point the failure has occurred, from there they will restart it. So that's what it is used to roll back a failed transaction at a given point of time. And generally, when you are familiar with the video games, so there will be several levels there. Suppose at the 6th level somewhere, in that game, the person dead. Emothundi. No need to start from the level 1. Already 5 levels completed. So you can restart from level 6 like that. So I can roll back a transaction where the failure has occurred. Like that, save point command is used. Like that, while these commands, they can change from one database software to another. Why? Because in SQL Server, you don't have describe. In Oracle and MySQL, you have. They change from one database software to another. But once you know how to work with one database software, learning other databases is easy for you. Install cheskunte, by seeing the tutorials also, you can learn easily. The next thing, how to work with the data types in Oracle. Actually, here also, because we are maintaining some data, means what type of data we want to store, we have to tell there. So for that, these databases, they have provided number of data types for us. The first one we are going to see here, it is the numeric data types which are used to store numbers. The first data type here we have is Oracle. It is a number. So this is a numeric in other database softwares. Actually, in Oracle, we use a number. But in other database softwares, they will call it numeric. So this data type, we can use it to store both integer and real numbers. Like for example, I have given something like roll number, number of 3. And any 3-digit value, I can store under this data type. So 3-digit means what is the smallest value and what is the biggest value? In 3 digits, what is the smallest value and what is the biggest value? 101, smallest value, and biggest value is 100 is the smallest value. Biggest value 999. Avuna? Right? 100 to 999. 3 digits. Smallest and biggest value, right? So any value from minus 999 to plus 999, we can store here. Okay, that's it. And if we want to store real numbers, like I've given something like balance number of 7, 2. 7, 2. Okay, now? So here, balance number of 7, 2. So this column balance, it will take 7-digit values. Among these, 2 digits are reserved for creation. And like percentage 7.2F annam kada C. So just like that. So if we want to store numbers, we can use the data type called number, both as integer and real numbers. So like numbers, we can use what are the other data types means already, because all the other databases providing numeric, here also it provides a data type called numeric here. Here also it is providing there. Along with that, we have some other data types like numeric, decimal, and a decimal mostly used by MySQL. We have the data types like this. These two, they are same as a number. And a version to version, they will change. Okay, we'll go for standard data types only. Particularly to store integers, we have the data types like tiny int, which uses 1 byte memory, small int, which uses 2 bytes memory, int 4 bytes memory, big int 8 bytes memory. And these also we can use. Even they have provided like bit. Bit means it uses 1 bit of memory, like this. And to store real numbers, they have provided like float, double. Float some databases, they will use it as single, double. Even you can have something like real to store real numbers. Different data types available. Manaki, which one are common there, we'll be going to use it like this. And the next set of data types here, we have character or string data types. If I want to store character values or strings, then we can use these data types, characters or strings. So what are the data types provided? We have like char and second one nchar. Nchar means N and a Unicode character set. Char means ASCII character set. And here each character is 8-bit memory. Here it is 2 bytes like that. So how to use this char data type? Like for example, I have given something like student name char of 20. And for each value, it provides memory where you can store 20 characters.
Store 20 character.
Provides memory where you can store 20 characters. But what is the problem is, suppose I entered some value, like enter your name. I entered like Misbah. I'm using only 5 letters. But still it will provide memory for 20 characters.
20 character.
And 50 locations wasted. So that's why it is used to create fixed length strings, we call it. So to avoid that problem, Oracle has provided varchar2, or even we call it nvarchar2. And this is called varchar in other database softwares. Okay, in other database softwares, we just call varchar, but in Oracle, we call it varchar2, variable character, adjustable. And how many characters we give, it will provide memory for those many only. No wastage. You cannot exceed the size. But if you are using only small length means, it will provide memory for those characters only. Like that. Then we have a data type called binary provided. This data type, it is used to create bit streams. I want to work with binary data. Like when you take audio files, images, video files, internally they are stored in binary format. If we want to maintain such type of data, we can use the data type called binary. Like that, different data types, they are provided. Data types to work with the dates. Like for example, we can say like date and time. Data types where we can use them. Like they have provided some data type called date. Date means you can store date value. Otherwise, I can use a date time or timestamp. So, do data types అనేవి to store both date and time values. Date, time and timestamp, they are used to store both date and time values. It is only date value to store we can use. And not only that, the date format in Oracle when we take. The date format in Oracle is DDMONYY. Like for example, what is today's date? 5th August 24. So 05
8th August.
2324. First 3 letters of month name. Like that it will take. Then they have some more data types called LOB data types. LOB means large objects, we call them. And as the name implies, they are used to store large volumes of data. You take generally an image, video or audio file, the size of the data is very large. So to store such a type of data, they can store from 4 GB to 1 terabyte of data for each value. Each value can be 4 GB to 1 terabyte. Such large volumes of data we can store. Where we have the data types like CLOB, we call it character large object. Character large object. Generally, it is used to store text files. Large text files, if we want to store flat files and could enter. Almost some 8 years back, when I was in Vijayawada, one day I have visited the APSRTC main branch at Vijayawada. There they asked us to build an application on PHP. So when I go there, what they tell is daily they used to take 150 GB of data as backup. Collective all bus stations throughout AP, they used to take 150 GB of data. They are storing in one file. Such large amounts of data, if we want to access, we can use like this. Otherwise, we can go with BLOB, which stands for binary large objects. So which is used to store images, any multimedia data, graphics files, all of them, they come under like this. Plenty of data types are there. When we go to official documentation, there will see plenty of data types available. But commonly, whatever the data types are used, we are going to implement them. Okay, na? That's what exactly. So in the tomorrow session, we will see how to start working with this Oracle database like this.